Hello and welcome back, guys, and it's Thursday again and time for another 10-minute blend modeling challenge. So I give myself 10 minutes every Thursday to model something, and I'll see how far I can get. And 10 minutes isn't a lot of time, I've noticed over and over again. So I put a lot of stress on myself, but I like it. I like the challenge, and it's a really good way to repeat and hammer in those skills. So I think it's a good way to improve. And for when you do Ludum Dare things or game jams and things like that, when you want to put some objects together really fast, this is really useful practice for that, especially if you're taking part in the competition one that I like to do, where you have to do everything yourself in just a single weekend. So check out my Ludum Dare page if you haven't done so on itch.io. I've done 10 consecutive Ludum Dares now. They run about, well, nowadays it's 2 times a year, but it used to be 3 times a year, where you give yourself one weekend to make a complete game. So in 48 hours you have to do everything yourself, the coding, the game design, graphics, music, audio, and I thrive on that challenge. I love it. So for someone who's not so good at a single thing, but decent at a lot of things, it suits me really well to try to push myself on that. So if you haven't tried that before, you should try Ludum Dare. It's a lot of fun. I've got a soft spot for floating islands, so I'm going to make a floating island in 10 minutes now. I'm going to see how far I get. And I'm going to use a pre-defined palette again, like I did on from the lostspec.com site, so check that out as well. You've got loads of funny, nice looking palettes that you can use. And again, I'm using a palette just as a single image, and I'll grab some pixel colors just from that. The UV mapping, I'll just grab some faces and drag them onto specific pixels, so I don't really have to do any UV unwrapping or anything like that. I just select the face and then drag it to a specific spot. So with that said, I'm gonna download, let's check out what palettes we've got here. So I actually spotted one with some floating islands here and some colors. Maybe I should go for this one. It's got some nice greens here, some browns, and also some, let's see, some grays here that I'll need. So I think I'm gonna go for this palette. I'll right click on it. No, I won't. Actually, I'll go on this download here. And let's download just this one, the PNG, and then right click, and I'll save it to my drive here. And I'm actually gonna, in Windows here, I'm gonna right click on it. You won't see that because it's off the screen, but I'll right click on it in Windows 10 and do rotate right because I want it vertically in Blender. I'll do what I normally do now. So if you've seen any of the previous episode, this might be a slight repeat, but I'll delete the camera from the default scene and also the light. And in the shading here, I'll just select this cube, and I'm gonna drag this texture in that I downloaded. And it's just to save this repetitive process in every single build that I do. Then I'll drag this color node to the base color, switch back to UV editing, and I'll resize this one down because I want to see the palette here as I model. And I'm going to change this drop down here as well. I want to see the texture when I model, and I also want to drop down and I like to do the shadow and cavity. So sorry if you've heard this about a million times, but I like to model in this look nowadays. So that's pretty much everything I'm going to start with. So I'm going to make a floating island with maybe some mud underneath and maybe some rocks if I have time, and some grass on top and maybe a tree. It would have been cool to make. I don't think I'll be able to make a waterfall. Maybe I'll try to put a waterfall in as well. So let's see how far I get. I'll set my timer here again. So give myself the usual 10 minutes. Everything ready? I think so. Let's get started. Let's make a floating island in 10 minutes in Blender. Ready, steady, go. And we're off. So I'll select A here, and then on the left side here, I'm gonna press A as well, scale down to 0, and then move this to a brown base color to start our island off with. Then I'll just select these ends here, scale it on the x-axis because I want to have it, and then scale the whole thing a little bit. And then Control R and roll up with the mouse wheel and do loads of loop cuts here. Right click to snap them back to the center, and then I'll just move here, scale it. But I want to actually move these up, Shift Space and G to get this little tool, little manipulator tool here, so I can see from the side. Let's just move these a little bit random here. And I'm not sure I like this color. It doesn't look that brown to me, so I'm gonna change this one down to this color here. Okay, and then Control R, and I'll do a length loop cut here. Oop, Control R and right click, and I'm gonna deselect this top one here because I want to just drag the center ones down a little bit to make it a bit rounder here. Okay, that's what I thought. I need to deselect. Press 1 to deselect these vertices here, and then I'll move this down like that. And then let's see, I'll scale the whole thing on the x-axis a bit. as well, like this. Okay, and let's scale these down. Press 2 on the keypad, scale y-axis. Get that shape on the island there. That's no good. Okay. I'm gonna have it from a side view anyway, so actually let's just make it wider here. I'll hold the shift key to multi-select the edges here. Scale, press Y. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna hold the shift key and I've switched to 3 on the top of the keyboard, so I can select these top vertices here, or faces, and then I'll do E to extrude this one. Control plus to add the selection, and press G here on the left so I can pick green here. Press 3 again, and now I'm gonna hold the shift and alt key and select, okay, that's not what I wanted. Control, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I have to select these manually. So I'm gonna have the grass hanging over a little bit here, so I'll multi-select all of these. I think there's a shortcut to do this actually. Oh, I know what to do. I'll do it. This is a useless way to do it. So I'm holding shift key to just multi-select all of these now, because then I can do Control plus to get the edges, and then I'll have to deselect all of these again. So that was a bit of a odd way to do this selection. There's probably a faster way to do that. Okay, E, and then I'm going to change this to E, and then S to scale it. So I've extruded it once now, and I press Shift Z to not do the Z axis, and then I do scale again, and then I'll just do Y for the Y axis. And then let's pull this down a little bit, scale, and let's reduce on the X size again. So this is going to be my grass, and then I'm going to just randomly move these edges a little bit to get some different shifts in the way the grass hangs over here. So I'll just press G key all the time over and over again to move these a little bit up and down. Okay, right, how am I doing for time? 6:30, that's okay. Okay, so that's our basic shape of the floating island there. Let's put some rocks here, so I'll press 1, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, and then I'll just do an icosphere here. Scale this one down, scale it on the X-axis, and then let's just do proportional editing up here. Press G, and then I'm going to switch this one to linked, if I can see it. Connected only, because I don't want I only want part of this mesh to move, not the island itself. So the linked one's really useful to limit it to the new mesh geometry that I created there. So let's just do some random things here. L to select these linked ones. I'm still in the same mesh, remember? So A, scale down to 0. G to grab it and move it up to a gray color here. And then let's just move that rock into there. Shift D to duplicate this one. R to rotate it. Shift D again. Move this one up here. We'll get some scale, maybe rotate again. Let's grab some of these vertices. I can use the scroll wheel to change the size of this proportional editing. L to select this one again. Shift D, make a smaller rock here, rotate it. G. Okay, so here we have some random rocks sticking out. Let's put a tree here now. So I'll press that vertex, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, and then I'll do a cube here and scale it down. Move it up a little bit, and then A on the left side here, and then scale down to 0, and let's make a tree trunk color here. So let's get that, and then scale it up a little again. Let's make a bit of a bigger tree. So I've got 444 to go. E to extrude, S to scale it down a bit, E to extrude again, rotate it, E to extrude, rotate, E to extrude, rotate, E to extrude. And then here I can start doing some branches now, so I'll just extrude some random parts here, some segments. G to move it, scale it down, E, rotate with R. I keep doing this over and over again. Select different faces here, just E to extrude that one, E to extrude that one again. And then here, E to extrude this, scale it down, G, okay. E to extrude this one, scale it down. So G, E to extrude. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere here. Let's do a split here as well. Scale. Okay, E, scale. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to put an icosphere here. So I'll select that face, Shift S, cursor selected, Shift A, icosphere, scale this one up. G, A here to select all the geometry on the UV. G to move it to different green color. And then I've still got proportional editing here, so I can grab a vertex here, roll this wheel up a bit so I can change the way the proportional editing works here. You can even rotate this proportionally now as well, like this. And then L to, and then Shift D to select the link and duplicate those. G to move it around a bit. S scale up a bit, and then let's do some random movements here. Still got 3 minutes to go here. G. Okay, let's duplicate this one as well. Shift D. Let's select the top vertex and rotate this whole thing back a bit. Get some randomness to this. Okay, and then one more. L to select the link, Shift D, rotate, and then let's see, get that L, G. I've still got the proportional. Use the mouse wheel to change the proportionality a little bit. So, okay, there we go. Let's put a rock up here as well. Or actually, let's. I've got a few minutes to now, so I'm going to put a waterfall here. So I'll press Control R twice here. Select this and move it down. Oh no, I have to switch off proportional now. And then I'll do. Let's see. I'll loop cut it with Alt Shift actually, and then I'll do I for inset, and then move this whole thing down a little bit. And then let's make all of this the same color here. So I'll double click A here, mark that one with the box select, G down here. And then I've still got some minutes to go. So let's make this one E to extrude. No, yeah. Scale it a bit, move it up again. Scale Y axis, Control plus, and then let's make this blue. And then that one is have to be blue as well. A, select. And that should be blue as well. I'll have to select these and do a Control plus one here so I can get these. Oh, it's because it's up here, so move that down. Okay, select that face. I've still got 1 minute to go, so E to extrude this one, rotate, G to move it. Move it all the way down here, and let's get this waterfall coming from somewhere as well. So I'll have to put K here just to put a knife cut across so I can press 3 and extrude this one. So here, waterfall's coming from up here. Let's move this one down even further. Okay, maybe move that one up a bit. Move it up. Okay, let's put a stone here as well. I won't have time to. I only have 36 seconds, so I'll put some more stones here. Shift D. I'll make some white water here, so I'll just do rotate that one. A, get that one to white. Shift D, this one a few times. L actually, let's scale these down. Select the link to scale them down a bit. Rotate. Let's do individual origins and rotate these a little bit. L. So I only have 11 seconds to go. Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. Let's L. 4 seconds to go. Let's put one more stone here and one more stone there, and rotate it and put it down. There, time's up. So here's our. Okay, I'll always forget to switch this off. So let's switch this off. Dismiss. So floating island challenge. I've got a floating island full of dirt here and some random rocks hanging out of it. And I've got a waterfall coming down here and some a tree with some greenery on it. Is it called greenery? Probably not. I'll call it greenery. Some white water foam here and a waterfall. A few useful tricks. Maybe I'll start mentioning some techniques maybe at the end of the videos. That could be useful as well. So something that I used in this video that could be, it's the proportional editing. So up here at the top, you've got this here, proportional editing. And you've got some different selections here. And with the smooth one here, as you could see, if I select the vertex here, and you can use the mouse wheel here to roll how much it affects. So this is a really useful way to edit if you want to do some quite big differences. And also you can change this one to maybe, for example, random here. And if you move now, it'll move all the vertices a bit random. So that's also a really useful tip. So for this episode of speed modeling in Blender, The tip is to use proportional editing with different types of fall-offs here. And remember, use the scroll wheel to move it up and down to affect the different sizes that you should do. This was a quick video again. I hope you continue to watch the series. I'm going to try to put one up every Thursday, and I'll fill in between. I'll do some Unity tutorials and some random game dev videos as well, and I'll try to update my vlog and things like that. So if you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to like this video if you liked it. And I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next week for another quick blend in Blender.